All right. It is MMA Control back again after a little bit of a break. Big Verb and I are back. It's UFC Perth. I'm super excited. It's a great main event. Carlos Ulberg versus Dominic Reyes. I am Jack Gold MMA. That is Big Verb. And we're here to give you some great betting insight, just give you about our takes on the card. And maybe because it's not such a loaded card this week, Steve kind of speed run through some of these. But there's a couple fights we want to talk about, give you our picks of the week, the underdogs of the week, and our breakdown of the main event. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Obviously, missed the UFC. It's kind of crazy how Australia is becoming kind of this outside the US main place for a lot of fights. I feel like they're getting a ton of fights per year. And ever since Volk, I feel like became champ, I feel like you're getting a ton, or maybe in the New Zealand guys too, but we're getting tons of Australian card. I don't know if that's just me, but I just feel like every couple of months we're talking about Perth or somewhere in Australia, which I don't mind at all, to be honest with you.
I love it. I just want to beat a man. No. Whatever Volk song goes. I love it.
Classic.
I think the Australian and New Zealand guys are some of the most composed, calm fighters there are. Like, they're great in stressful situations. They all have good boxing. I like it. I love going to Australia. Good for them.
I agree. We got
weird for them that it's always on Sunday mornings, though.
Yeah, that is, and that'd be weird to go to the fight too.
I would love it. Wake up and go to the fights, and then afterwards go to church. What a Sunday.
Because I've always wanted to go to like an overseas show. Like they always say, like the Paris ones are insane, or the UK ones are insane, but also the time of the events insane. And I feel like they're kind of changing that now to where it doesn't matter as much, and they're making it more better for them. But I can't imagine being 2 a.m. at a fight. Like, that's crazy to me.
The breakdown of that, if it's a pay-per-view, it'll always be US prime time unless it's Abu Dhabi. If it's a fight night, it's that location's prime time.
Yeah.
Besides Perth, they're on Sunday morning again. But like, I'd love to go to a UK fight night or that Paris fight night. Those look electric. That would be the best.
I'm right there with you, boss.
Like we said, after a little bit of a break, not to flex our own horns a little bit, we had a bunch of haters last time we talked on UFC Noche. We gave out the pick of the week, which people thought we were crazy, with Diego Lopez. The underdog of the week, maybe I flipped those around with Jesus Aguilar, flipped those two. Same difference. Both underdogs, both hit, and we made some money. People thought we were crazy.
Yeah, no, our underdog was definitely, it was getting a little sweaty sometimes, but that towards the end of the fight. But no, I think he did exactly what we talked about. And same thing with the main event. I feel like Diego, you just saw him, the experience, come out to play. And not that he didn't have his moments of getting pieced up too. The spinning elbows are becoming a thing now. Obviously, you went to the Chicago event. We got spoiled with them. But it's crazy all these spinning elbow knockouts we're getting all of a sudden. I'm here for it. I thought it was a great fight night, especially Noche, even though there wasn't many Mexican fighters on it. I loved it. It was a good way to not have after that, I could live without US for a week. It was pretty entertaining.
I was just so happy that I was right. People were DMing me, my friends were texting me, my family members were like, "You're crazy." I know, my family, and I'm like, God,
it's always the close.
We were telling you the experience of Diego Lopez, the opposition of Diego Lopez, the size, the strength, the grappling. Brother showed out. Couldn't have made me. He made me. I was already a 4-lifer, but I'm another one now. I'm on that guy's team forever.
And I also think the pressure played in a part that we talked about. Fighting Nerds coming off 0-2 on an event, and then one of their big names doing a main event against an extremely experienced fighter. You could tell he's going for that flashy knockout. He desperately wanted that knockout, which resulted in him get finished, honestly. Because that was the last couple of seconds of the round. He didn't need to attack him. He was going for the knockout, and it played out against.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous. And the blood, the kind of gross.
Yeah.
Jumping on the cage, flipping everybody off.
I loved it.
Dude's an animal. But to get into this UFC Perth card a little bit, it is headlined by CKB, City Kickboxing, newcomer, title challenger, their best young guy in the wings, Carlos Ulberg, taking on the true, not casual, the true hardcore GOAT, the man who defeated John Jones. Dominic Reyes is in the main event. And I think we should go top to bottom on this thing. And there's a lot of fights on here that I don't think need a ton of explanation, but we'll give a little bit of our breakdown for each one.
100%.
To start off the night, now Tapology, fair warning, I've seen Jack Jenkins versus Roman Tavares in the co-main. Tapology is Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Urslan in the co-main. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to accord to Tapology, though. To start this off, we have Loma Lubumyi versus Alexa Tainara. Tainara, a Dana White Contender Series veteran from last season. Her one win in the UFC is a submission win over Molly McCann. Impressive in its own right. And then Loma, one of my favorite, like, kind of dark people at 115. She's a small, tight striker. Like, she is so nice to watch. And this is going to be an interesting one. It's really a striker versus grappler matchup. And I'm leaning Loma Lookboonmee here.
Yeah, I think I'm probably with you on that. When it comes to that striker grappler matchup, it's always the real question is, I guess two things. How good is that grappling? And then does the striker have any takedown defense? And the females MMA is a little different, but a lot of these strikers just have the worst takedown defense ever. I don't think that really applies here. I think I'm gonna go for Luma. I'm gonna go with the vet. She's got the UFC experience. She's on a 4-fight win streak, I believe.
Yep.
And that's gonna get you going. That's gonna get the aura going. That's confidence. And you never want these people that are coming into UFC to be the person that beats you. If you lose in the UFC, you want it to be someone who's a big name. It doesn't affect you as much. So I'm gonna go Luma. I'm right there with you.
With her, she has lost twice in the UFC since 2019, and it was to Angela Hill and Lupe Godinez. Both of those fighters are very good. Wins over Virginia Fry, Sam Hughes, Denise Gomez, Elisa Reed, Bruno Brazil, Stella Nunes. I don't think Alexa Tainara is a Lupe Godinez. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Now, next up, we've got kind of another interesting one. The UFC has been on a craze right now of they have heavyweights booked for Contender Series, and they say, come on, skip it. You're coming to the UFC now. This fight was supposed to take place on week 3 of this season's Dana White's Contender Series. It is Brando Pericic versus Elijah Ellison. Pericic, another CKB product, 6'5", 265 pounds. He's 4-1. He's a grappler for the most, right? And Elijah Ellison, big American heavyweight with knockout power. Also, instead of 4-1, he's 5-1 and 4 knockouts. But he has been choked out, so who knows? I'm leaning the grappler in this fight, Brando Pericic. What do you think?
I think it's a coin flip. You got 2 heavyweights, not a ton of experience. UFC's desperate to get some more heavyweight action in. I hope they keep signing people. Heavyweights make fights so much fun, especially if you can get them in the prelims, gets heavy knockouts in. I don't really have a pick for this fight. I think it's a coin flip. Either way is good for the UFC. You can either have someone that goes up the rank or starts moving up, maybe a contender, or you have a guy that kind of just fills early prelims and prelim cards. It's going to be kind of one of those routes for either of these guys. So it'll be interesting to see who doesn't have the jitters when it comes to fight night.
100%. Next up, we've got Michelle Montague, the debutante that's come out of PFL versus the UFC vet Luana Carolina. Montague is 6-0 and a -225 favorite. She is a pure grappler. If you've seen her fight, her grappling's good, but holy crap, her striking is atrocious and her takedowns are bad. Give me the massive underdog at +200, Luana Carolina.
I'm actually with you. I'm actually with you on this. Even though the one thing I hate about when I look at her resume, which I don't think it applies, she is the person that was on the unfortunate end of that. The only Molly McCann highlight that she had in her career, I feel like. But obviously she's bounced back from that. I think the UFC experience, once again, kind of similar to the other female fight. She's coming off a win. She has a win streak. She's had her couple losses. She's learned from it. I think she's kind of become more of a better overall fighter and not just one-dimensional. Once again, I love that UFC experience. You know, in PFL, the women's MMA, the bar is really low. The bar is really low. You're fighting people who just started a year or two ago. You're not gaining much from that. A lot of those competitions, I think. So I think I'm going to once again have to go with the UFC vet with the UFC. The experience usually talks, but we could be wrong. But I think she might be in for more than she does.
My favorite part about picking Luana Carolina, she's beaten Lupe Godinez. All she wants to do is take her down. She's beaten Ivana Petrovic, who is undefeated. All she wanted to do is take her down. She's beaten 135-pound big girl, Juliana Sterlienko, mid as hell. All she wants to do is take you down. And she beat Lucy Pudilova, where all she wants to do is take you down. Guess what Michelle Montague wants to do? All she wants to do is take you down. I think she's got the style under control right now.
And don't be surprised. And I'm not the biggest fan of going this with women's MMA, but don't be surprised if you have a finish. Don't be surprised if these takedowns get stuffed, she gets tired, and then she starts getting kind of tapped up against the fence, and then kind of crumbles. I'm telling you, I kind of see her, Carolina, getting a couple good 1, 2, 3s in there, and then Michelle just kind of starts crumbling against the fence, and the ref calls it. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, 100%. Both taking Luana Carolina, big underdogs there. Next up, we've got the Volkanovski protege, Colby Thickness, taking on kind of a star of Dana White Contender Series last season, Josias Musasa, where both fell short in their debuts. They're both getting a chance at redemption here. And man, Josias Musasa is on FanDuel, the -1-2 favorite. And I think that's right. And I think Josias Musasa is going to get the job done.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty with you on that. It's kind of because the Colby Thickness, he doesn't have it's not a terrible loss. He put up a little bit of a good fight against Topuria because everyone thought he was going to come in and get knocked out. The Topuria name carries a little weight. He didn't do terrible terrible, but he didn't do great either. I might have to go the dog on this one. And once again, we got a hometown guy, a lot of pressure. And think of the traveling difference. Where is he from? The Dominican Republic? Is that
Uganda, I believe.
Uganda? I don't know how far Uganda is from Australia.
No, the Congo.
I know that's not a quick flight. So I think I'm gonna go with the home. I think I'm gonna go with another underdog here. I think, he's coming off that debut loss. He's in his home country. He doesn't have to make all these adjustments that a lot of people have to when they're going to a place like Australia.
See, my take on it is I think while Thickness was competitive, he was losing most of the moments of that fight. I think in Mousasi's loss, he was winning most of the moments in that fight till the stud grappler got his back and he kind of gassed out. Now, I totally agree with what you're saying, where Thickness is probably the better, well-rounded guy. And if Mousasi gasses, he's cooked.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go the opposite way. This one we've been pretty agreeable. I think this one I'm gonna switch it up.
Now, next up, we've got Jamie Mullarkey, the tough vet, versus the younger guy, Rolando Bedoya. What are you thinking on this one?
It's kind of one of those fights we talked about the previous card, battle of the losers. You know what I mean? Jamie Mullarkey, I mean, there's times where he's in fights, he can look great, but he can also, he starts getting pieced up a little bit. And to give him some fair grace, getting KO'd by Ruffy's not the worst thing in the world. Not the most age, now that he got, beat up a little bit, not the best age, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Most people around that rank are going to get knocked out by him. He doesn't have terrible losses. God, I don't like this fight at all, to be honest with you. Not looking at it, I want to say Jamie, but honestly, I just feel like who shows up this one. That's what it's going to come down to. When they both last fight, they both have taken a year, a little over a year and some change off, which is usually good. I think I'm gonna have to go against Jamie, and only for the only reason, honestly, is Jamie has just been getting knocked out a lot.
I'm going with Rolando Bedoya here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I'm not putting money on him by any means, but I think I'm gonna go against Jamie. He's just gotten finished too much. A lot of CTE experience is cool, but I think I can't. When you've been knocked out 3 times in the last 2 years, just not good for you, man. It's usually downhill from there.
Well, here's someone I will be putting money on. We've got the a fun prelim here of Jonathan McAuliffe versus Oban Elliott. Give me the underdog in this fight, Jonathan McAuliffe at +110.
I'm right there with you. They both had opposite things that I like. Where Elliott, I didn't like his loss, how he lost in his last fight, and then Jonathan, I loved how he won. So completely different. I did look a little bit before we got on. I do see a little money going towards Elliott, so I do think people are maybe thinking it was a fluke win or something, because he did have a lot of potential coming into that. So I'm seeing a lot of money go in on Elliott. I think he's a minus. Yeah,
he would have been 13-2 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 9 fight win streak.
Yes, I think that was a big letdown, but I think I don't want to say he got exposed, but I think you learned a lot about him as a fighter. So I'm gonna go with another. It's gonna be a big underdog night. I'm gonna go with the underdog Jonathan with you. I think overall better rounded, to be honest.
And we're watching Dana White's Contender Series here, and Rafael Tobias gets the first round submission.
Oh wow, I need to turn that on.
Versus Jair da Oliveira, who is a 5 foot fat as hell light heavyweight, and that is okay. Tobias round 1. That bet hits 75 cents for 55 cents, baby. Let's go.
See, I think last time I looked before we got on, he was like minus 540 going into that.
Yeah, big time. I got him at minus 150 at 75 cents.
Yeah, they started dropping money on him last night. That's good to know.
But next up here, we've got the other Contender Series veteran. But next up here, we have the Contender Series alum Cam Rouston taking on Andre Petrosky. It's been 39 days since his win versus the guy, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But he got the KO win, and Petrosky's a tough fight. Everybody's picking Petrosky here. Call me crazy. I'm loving Cam Rouston, the underdog, +125.
Yeah. It's funny, man, because I was such a big, and I'm still kind of a big Andre fan. I liked him when he come into the UFC. I like the gym he's at a lot. You got your Sean Brady's and stuff like that, Joe Pfeiffer's. I like the gym that he's around. He's got great jiu-jitsu, but he's terrible at wrestling. He can't take down anyone to save his life. It's like one of those, it's like a DDP takedown. It's just luck. Like, he just falls on people and they fall and they get taken down. I actually think I'm gonna go against you. I think I'm gonna go Andre. Yeah, I don't don't have a great reason either. I think I just want to go Andre. You know, he likes to lose, then win again, just lost. I don't know. This is a coin flip too. I think what Andre shows up that night. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because he can look great, but he can look really slow also. His striking can look so mediocre slow. It's insane. Or his takedowns. I mean, you can see his takedowns coming before he even moved the fucking leg to do it. But I think I'm gonna ride with him this time.
I like it. Now, next up, I think we've got one of the not the official pick of the night, not the official underdog of the night, but we have one of my favorite locks of the night. Big favorite. Shout out to Kool-Aid. This is our heavy favorite whale, Navajo Sterling at -250. Personally, this is mine. Can't speak for. I think Rodolfo Bellato is dog ass. So if Navajo Sterling is okay,
and honestly, I thought his odds were higher when I looked earlier, but you know, -245, not terrible. I thought he was gonna be
not
minus
terrible.
400, and that's why I was like, I'm gonna stay away from that. But like you said, the competition. I mean, he doesn't want to fight. I don't know why. I'm surprised the UFC still has a sign, to be honest with you.
He's just so bad.
He's so bad. But you know, now that I see those odds, I think I am gonna jump on that bandwagon with you.
I'm cool. Listen, I'm cool laying that price, as crazy as that is.
-245 honestly isn't as bad as I thought it. And I don't know if someone's putting money on the underdog like a lunatic, but I think I'm gonna go with Sterling with you. I think that's a pretty good pick due to the competition, and the odds aren't dramatically bad.
Now, here are our two. These next two fights are our two official picks of the night. Starting off, our lock of the night at -162. We are both taking Tom Nolan to beat Charlie Campbell. It's a close fight. Charlie Campbell is good, but Tom Nolan is long. He's dangerous. He was the very hyped prospect coming into the UFC. He stumbled a little bit, but now he's back on track on a win streak, and he's looking pretty good. And I think he's about to finish Charlie Campbell personally, but I like him at money line.
Yeah, and once again, got a hometown guy on a nice win. They're both on 3-fight win streak. I think Tom's looks a little bit better, and honestly, the Nicholas loss, he hasn't aged too bad, to be honest with you. But I'll give Campbell credit. The Duncan loss has aged great because Duncan's been on an underdog tear of the UFC for the past
and he
year.
was whooping on him a little bit.
So that, you know, that's aged gracefully. But I do think Tom's going to be kind of have a little bit more edge on this fight. And once again, I really think making that trip from the United States to Australia is a lot. The time difference is dramatic in Australia. And I think that's on some of the, not all fighters, but I think it is going to have a little wear on some of these fighters. As long as, if they didn't go out 2 weeks before, and I mean, I don't know how much money these guys have to be spending money like that. I don't see them going out 2 weeks before like a champion or something like that to get adjusted. I think they go the same week. Pray for a miracle. You know, you're not trying to spend a bunch of money by any means. So I think I'm going to go with Tom Nolan. Better overall. I think he's going to have a little bit of edge in the striking, and he's going to be ready to go. When was his last fight? When did Tom fight? 7 months. I like that. Nice and well rested.
Now, that's our favorite pick of the night. Money line, the lock, Tom Nolan. Now it's time for our underdog pick of the night, depending on where you look, with a little asterisk. Because on FanDuel, he is +102. On DraftKings, he is -105. But we like him regardless. I'd even lay the chalk on him up to about -150.
Easily.
It's Louis Sutherland versus Justin Tafa, and we both like Louis Sutherland a lot. And my case for that, he's 10-3, and he has a lot of experience outside of the UFC already. He started his professional career, he did amateur in 2019. Then he did 1, 2, 3, 4 KOs back to back to back from August of 21 to April of 22. So 10 months. Then they put him in the PFL versus Abram Babley, who is now a 6-2 pro, which might not sound crazy, but he was a 4-0 amateur. He's 10-2 overall. He's a hyped guy out of there. And it was a decision lost 2-1 in his first year as a pro. Big whoop. Then he wins in PFL, 4-1 guy to strikes. Then he loses a decision against a pretty experienced dude, whatever, comes back, knocks out a 5-2 guy. I like it. And he loses another 2-1 decision to Slim Trebelsi, who is 8-0. He's a Bellator. He's a very good fighter. Since then, 4 wins, 2 knockouts, and then he's gone the decision twice, which shows he can push the pace. Now, the biggest thing is Louis Sutherland is typically the smaller guy in these fights. Not girth and thickness wise. He might earn the title girth master. However, he is 6'3", has a 77-inch reach. Justin Tafa's 6 foot. Justin Tafa's bad. I think Louis Sutherland's gonna run him over. What do you think?
I think you've summed it up. The only thing I'm going to add to the cherry on top of that is, you know, obviously his last win, that's not going to age bad, but the Carl Williams loss has aged terribly. Carl Williams has lost 3 fights since beating Justin, and he hasn't looked great at all, to be honest with you. So I think it's justified. Like I said, I can't say too much more than what you said. I think it's a good bet. I would say, like you said, up to -150. Any more than that, I think it's not worth too much, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, it's heavyweight. He makes 1 or 2
finish. I throw finish on there.
if he makes a few silly mistakes or overthrows, Justin still has the power. He still has the power. It's heavyweight. That's just the reality of it. We're not going for super technical guys by any means.
I just don't love that three of his four UFC wins are Harry Hunsucker, never had a UFC win. Parker Porter, I don't think he had a UFC win.
Got the eye poke, and then he
I lied. Parker Porter went 4-4. That's crazy.
He did a bunch of low level guys though. I mean, nothing.
And then Austin Lane
Who's
twice.
terrible.
Like
Austin Lane,
and he's terrible.
So bad. He is so bad at MMA. He's probably not in the UFC anymore. I guarantee you, he's got.
So it's just like, yeah. I don't know.
I think if you're a better guy, minus 150s max. If come Saturday he's over minus 150, I think you kind of sprinkle him. Nothing crazy though.
I want to take a look right now before we move on from this. What if the props are out for this fight, which I don't believe they are, but
not on DraftKings.
They're not, because I want to know what fight to end by knockout would be, because I'm sure
probably
heavy
plus
favorite.
150. Probably like plus 110.
I would think it's like minus 200.
Well, he's an underdog, remember, so it can't be.
No, just fight to end by knockout. Period.
Oh, just period. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably something. What's he
now? Sorry.
No, you're good. The under 1.5 plus 114, right?
Interesting. Now, next up, we've got the battle of two vets. One may seem like much less of a vet than the other. We've got the 15-fight, 10-year veteran Jake Matthews taking on Neil Magny. I think this is a close one. Jake Matthews is a minus favorite, and just because of that, I am putting my money on Neil Mag.
Man, Neil always just shot, and it's kind of weird with Neil because the fights he can actually possibly win, and how he's going to win it. It's just a matter if he gets to that position to do that.
I think if Jake Matthews goes for a finish, he's going to lose, and if he goes for a decision win, he'll win.
I actually don't disagree with that at all. I think that's a really good. I feel like that's a really good way to put it. If Jake Matthews tries to get flashy, is Jake Matthews from Australia? Where's he from?
Yep.
So he definitely wants to get a knockout in front of the hometown. So I could definitely see where maybe he gets a little gassy, second, third round. Neil trips him up, catches him a missing an overhand, and kind of slides around him. Tough call though, man. It's just I think this is kind of as weird as the odds are crazy different. I do think, I don't want to say it's 50-50, but it's like 60-40.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close still. It's about 60. I'll give it 60-40. I think that's pretty respectable towards Jake Matthews. There's a reason he's a big favorite, but you can't sleep on Neil ever. But like I said, he does have to go all the way to Australia for this, compared to him just going down the street to Vegas. I might go with Neil on you. I don't think it hurts to sprinkle him. The Matthew wins aren't great, but they're not terrible. What's his last one?
Chidi and Jacqueline. That was a great win.
That's a good win. Like I said, that's not a bad win. I definitely think he's kind of been growing in the UFC as we've kind of watched him develop. Ugh.
He's coming off some good wins, man.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think you're gonna be right where he could catch Neil. But
I'm betting Jake Matthews decision.
I think that's right where I was at. Jake Matthews decision. If he tries to be flashy and over kind of strike, I think Neil always has his bag of tricks where he gets them down and kind of drains these fighters. But
he's just a crafty vet. Like, he is the definition of a crafty vet.
And I know this sounds ridiculous, but he goes in there, I think, knowing if he wins, he's not really worried about being cut. You know what I mean? Like, he's a vet. He's not.
He is the UFC's unk.
Yeah, he's a true gatekeeper. He is a true gatekeeper. Neil Magny is. So I feel like losses don't affect him that bad. But I think I'm gonna ride with you. I know I was talking to Neil, but I think I'm gonna go Jake Matthews decision. As long as he doesn't try to do too much extra stuff and get caught off balance, I think he could win an easy on the feet decision. But I think if he slips up too many times, he could find himself on the ground getting exhausted, body triangle, and see what Neil does. But I think Jake Matt should have it, but don't be surprised if Neil pulls off another upset.
Now for this next fight, we've got two low-key stinkers here. No, I lied. I'm going with what the UFC said is Jack Jenkins is the co-main event. So the featured fight of the night, we've got Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Urslan, and we've got two stinkers because Ivan Urslan is 0-2 in the UFC. He's 1-3 in his last 4 fights, and he's taking on Jimmy the Brick Crute. Now, Jimmy Crute has had some horrific luck in the UFC.
Poor guy.
His last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights, he's had an L, doctor stoppage, an L, a majority draw, a guillotine in the rematch, a majority draw.
And he came in so hot. I remember remember when he came in, he was kind of hot shit. He was supposed to be a big deal, man. I was a big fan of him when he first came in.
Nuke Modestus.
Yeah, I mean, he was beating up because I remember the Kimura on Paul Craig, and I was like, wow, he just Paul Craig. Like, this is back in like 18, 19. Paul Craig was on like kind of like a little heater, and the losses aren't terrible. I hate the Anthony Swift one, but that's unlucky. Manafield, I think Manafield. The thing about Alonzo is he has these fights where he looks like a fucking top 10 light heavyweight, or he looks really sloppy. It's one of the other. And he just happened to get the great Manafield that night. But I think Jimmy Crute looked great in his most recent fight. Not the best competition by any means, but I do think he kind of showed, hey, I do still got it.
He's got the momentum.
Healthy. He's healthy. He's at home. Nobody wants to lose at home. I think I'm going to go with Jimmy Crute. What are the odds on that?
Jimmy Crute minus 185. Oh my goodness. Javier Reyes putting it on Justice Torres right now a little bit. Putting it on him against the fence. Oh my goodness.
And I saw a lot of people on Torres because he was the underdog, right?
Yeah. It is over. Javier Reyes following up and following him down, putting him up against the fence with right hooks.
I'm glad I didn't bet that. Everyone in my group chat was telling me to bet him because he trains with Joshua Van and all that.
I didn't bet it.
I wasn't big on him.
You think you're gonna be Javier Reyes? You elephant.
No, I saw a lot of people on him in this one group chat I have, and I was like, I'm not feeling that confident. So big favorite.
And Reyes isn't that great either because he just lost Makate and Lahayan.
Exactly.
But 100%. Both of those guys are fucking good. Like, that's the thing.
Not bad losses.
Now for the co-main event of UFC Perth, we've got Jack Jenkins taking on Ramon Tavares. I'm pumped this one. I love Jack. I think Jack's gonna put it on Ramon.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a barn burner. I think for a couple of these Australian guys, they're kind of setting them up to win.
Jenkins a huge favorite at minus 300.
Yeah, I think the UFC is trying to throw them a little bit of a bone. Get some hometown wins. That's always good for the crowd. That sounds great. When the hometown people win locally, the crowd goes crazy. I don't care what city it is. When the hometown person wins, everyone goes crazy. So I think I'm gonna go with Shaq. I'm not the biggest fan of betting. Big favorite. Probably not worth putting too much money on it. But as far as a pick, I definitely got to go with a lot of Australians versus Americans.
Like you said, for the main event, we've got another one. Yeah. Australia versus America. Carlos Ulberg taking on Dom Reyes. This is one of the first fights of the night. You and me are completely opposite takes. I think Dominic Reyes is going to get a knockout finish in this one. A plus 200 underdog money line, a plus 460 by knockout.
I would want to be with you if Reyes involved a little wrestling. That's where you can catch Carlos off a bit. You know what I mean? His gym's not known for wrestling. You know what I mean? They're not wrestling defense. That's not their gym. What they are known for is being amazing strikers and just having that defense too. They're not pushing in all the time. They're really good counter strikes, especially when, you basically his whole career he's been training with his, I do think the odds should be a slightly closer. I don't think Carlos should be, I think he was like minus 250 right now, which that's a pretty confident. That's heavy. I do agree. That's why I think this is going to be a huge fight for both of these guys. Career changing. One of these guys is go fight for the belt after the Gon fight, or they're just going to be the number one contender and have fight someone else. But either way,
the winner of this or Yuri Roundtree next week, I believe, is going to get the winner.
Yeah.
Of Pereira Inc.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Carlos versus any of them are awesome. Like I said, I think a lot of people want Reyes because I feel like they want to give him that karma for the John Jones fight, but that shin quality is what's got me a little. We've seen him get brutally knocked out, bro. I mean, dead on the canvas. Carlos hasn't had that. He hasn't been.
Yes, he has.
Oh, never mind. You are right.
Yes, he has.
I saw your eyes light up, and I started thinking, yep, you're right. I do remember that Kennedy. I think I was there. Wasn't it?
That was Apex against the Kent's fans, put him away. My biggest thing is I like the over on this fight a ton. It's 2.5. I love the over. I think Reyes is going to get the finish. However, if he doesn't, I think this is going to be an Ulberg decision. Plus 500 bet if you like that.
Book it. I'm telling you. Ulberg decision, hometown. The chin of Reyes has me a little sketchy, and he's a good counter puncher. Both of these guys haven't done 5 rounds in a really long time. Carlos hasn't done 5 rounds at all, actually. Let me
ever
go back. But Reyes hasn't been in that position in a while. He did go 5 rounds with John. Obviously, that is huge. That's That's a lot of credit. You know what I mean? Long fucking time.
He beat
ago.
him.
Long time
He
ago.
beat him.
Not according to my sportsbook. So I was sweating bullets during that decision. But I think Carlos'
You bet
decision.
Jones?
Oh, yes. I had so many bets with people. They were all texting me, like, better be ready to pay up. And then that decision came out. I was like, we're still in this, baby. Carlos' decision. Both of these guys have the ability to knock it out, but I think the fight's way too important for both of them. I think you're going to get a very tit for tat striking. Each of them are going to have their moments. It's going to be who's going to be the pusher and control the pace of this fight. I think that's going to be a very interesting outcome.
I agree with you.
I think
it's like whoever has their back against the cage is going to be losing.
I think Reyes will start pushing that first round or two, feeling confident. I think Carlos is going to catch him one more time, and then you're going to see, I think maybe towards around the third round, Carlos start taking control of the fight. And they're both 35, so none of these guys are young by any means. It's just
everybody thinks Ulberg's a young man.
Yeah, he's not. He just came in late, and he just looks like a fucking model. Like, you know what I mean? He's like the guy you don't want to leave your girl around.
Carlos, you're pretty.
So, go with the black jag, man. Carlos decision. I don't hate it. I don't like the -110 on the knockout. I understand why Vegas is doing that, but I think that's trap. Coaches.
I'm going with a +200 underdog here. The Dominator. Dominic Reyes.
And him by decision's got to be +800 at least. Let's look real quick. Reyes by decision +800. Literally called that.
Look at who knows his sports betting.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that is 100% worth it. Opposite ends on this time. I think it's the first main event we're kind of on the opposite ends of. So
yeah, we'll
see what happens. But yeah, I think we've been killing the dogs on the main event lately. I got to switch sides this time. I'm gonna go with the hometown.
And before we head out here, a little preview for next week. You and me, we're gonna have to pre-record some of this because we're both gonna be in Las Vegas for UFC 320. You have tickets, I don't. But I think MMA Control and I might be taking a little bit of a fun series here to maybe get myself to UFC 320. It's gonna be a fun week next week.
We're gonna get you in there 100%. You're going to the fights one way or another. We're figuring out a way to get you in there. No,
I'm following VERB at the casino. We're going crazy.
I'm telling you, we're gonna have a Baccarat run. No, definitely watch out for UFC 320 content. We may, I'm gonna go in my little bag of tricks, and we may do a little giveaway. I got a little something I found while I was cleaning out my desk that I think would be a really cool, nothing crazy piece. Let's just say it's a beautiful UFC card, and it's autographed, by a double champ. I'm gonna leave that out there. There's not too many of them, so it's not too hard to think about, but that puts some names.
Whoever it is, that's big time. MMA Control fans, get in here.
It's not graded or anything, but it's a great card, and anyone that has
it will with your eyes.
Yeah, 100%. So double champ, signed, autograph. I don't know if it's a 1-of-1, but it's still signed, proof, beautiful. So watch out we'll make a little video next week for that. Got to figure out the sweepstakes for that. We'll probably figure that out while we're in Vegas. Do something dope for all the people supporting us right now while we're getting our followers, subscribers up. Appreciate
we appreciate the shares of last week's clip. That was big time.
371 shares on the main event thoughts, and if 371 people listen to us, they were winning some money that night. I'm just saying, don't be afraid.
I think they were saying we were dummies, but little did they know.
We may have a cash app you guys can send tips to. You know what I mean? We're giving free advice here. We do not sell picks. But anyways, this should be a great fight week, setting up for a top tier UFC pay-per-view card. I'm excited.
I am too. Great recording with you, sir. Can't wait for this weekend.
I'll see you next week.
And hey, watch out. This weekend, me and VERB might be together in person for some stuff for UFC Perth. Watch out.
I'm telling you, we're about to bless the people with content. All right, boss. Take it easy.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Nice.